supply is more than the rest of the world put together. I mean, the point I'm making is
it's a dwindling market also.
Yeah.
Established economy.
If we focus only on BRICS, India, China especially, and Brazil mirror the economies of the region quite well, of the BRICS nation. Because South Africa is very small. We have much to learn from the rest of BRICS. Russia is a bit advanced. Its per capita income is very high. It's about $17,000. Whereas India and China and Brazil is very low. South Africa is also very low. So we can learn, especially through interaction and networking with developing countries rather than the American developed and the European developed economies.
The whole idea of Professor Kumar for the BRICS business schools, and we are the first set of business schools to promote the idea. We've put it on the agenda for the BRICS meeting in Russia in May, that's next month. So we've used diplomatic channels to raise the idea of a BRICS business.
We want to publish scientific research. We've published in the last few years, in 2 years, in excess of 100 scholarly articles. 100. I was quite surprised to see that. That's only for one institution. You take both the institutions, it was 100 in 1 year. And primarily because of people like Professor Dirusoni and one or two other people who are very, very keen on research. But of course, the West will say, well, these are unpublished online journals and so on. There's always a way to put people down, you know. So, but many of them are in good journals. We would like to also invite faculty to liaise with faculty across in Durban, South Africa. Maybe I could also plug a little advert for ourselves. We've been here trying to recruit some good academics. And we met some, not that Mr. Dean is going to take any of your academics, but we met some good ones yesterday. And yeah, we can put our monies where our mouths are and ask, give them a decent invite to come over. We want to especially thank Dr. Radha and the Dean. Dr. Radha, you're a young woman. You must make the effort. Don't be put off by the bureaucracy, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. People who do things will make mistakes. The person who says, I made no mistake, does nothing. So, I hope you never in your life say, I don't make any mistakes. Because that will mean you don't do anything. Alright, so I want to thank all of you. And again, I want to...
Okay, just to let you know who our delegation is. So, Professor Kirodia, who had spoken, is the founder of this group, and he is the current chairman and president of the various institutions that I will discuss with you briefly. Next to him on his right is Professor Dirusoni. He heads research. He's the director of research and international linkages and partnerships. So he's particularly pleased to be here at GITAM today. Mr. Ridwan Asvat, on the right-hand side of the dean, is the director of business development, executive education, and he's one of the key directors in one of the institutions called Regent Business School. He's the director of operations. The lady with the white is Ms. Gia Ritako. She heads postgraduate education at the institution called Mancosa, and she is responsible for research of the postgraduate programs, mainly the MBA and a smaller number of a postgraduate degree we call the honors degree. From a commerce degree we have the honors. So she manages the research and postgraduate education. Ms. Japolile Diko, the lady in black, is part of our executive education at Mancosa, and she's part of a team that looks at in-company training, customized training, short learning programs, short courses, and executive education. And finally, we have Mrs. Kirodia, the wife of our founder and president. That's the team from South Africa. Mr. Kasim Jogi is one of our key managers of the infrastructure. We have quite large infrastructure in South Africa, particularly in the city that we come from, which is where we are headquartered. The city of Durban is on the east coast of the country, and he's the director that looks after all our facilities, infrastructure, and related aspects. So that is the full team. Have I missed anybody, Mark? No. This is myself. Ahmed Sheikh is my name, and I'm part of the management team of the group. I'm based primarily at Regent Business School, and my role is a managerial role at the institution. Having said that, just to give you a sense, we run a number of entities. The first two are the two universities that Professor Yusuf had spoken about. Mancosa, and that's an acronym, it's the green logo on the right-hand side. The name is Management College of Southern Africa. And then Regent Business School, the red logo. These are the two private higher education universities. We run a college in Mauritius, in the island of Mauritius. It's called YK Business School. We then run a much smaller training college for IT programs, software development, app development. It's called IT Varsity. And we have also backward integrated, if you like, into selling textbooks. So we run a retail outlet called Shesha Books. Shesha is a local word in Zulu, in the local language. It means quickly, John. So you can get textbooks quickly, basically. So because we deal with thousands of students, we've backward integrated into a retail bookstore. The first four institutions are higher education, and the first two are the two key higher education institutions. I think Professor Karodia had spoken about the history and background. We are about 20 years old, so we're a young set of business schools, started in the post-94 or democratic period in South Africa. And if you look at bullet number 4, all our programs that we offer, between the two big institutions, we offer in excess of 60 to 70 higher education qualifications. Most of them are bachelor's degrees and postgraduate qualifications, as well as MBA programs. And they cover the areas of commerce, business management, and entrepreneurship. So that's the primary area that all our programs feature around. We are now beginning to enter into the space of teacher education, as well as healthcare management and nursing care. But primarily commerce and business management is our key focus across the programs. Across these 15 countries, and they register on our various programs. All of them are on a blended mode of delivery, or sometimes we call it distance learning. So we don't offer contact programs. We have students who register, and then they collect their materials. We meet them a few times in a semester. So the vast majority of our academic interaction with students is through distance and supported learning methodology, as well as electronically mediated learning. So that's the primary mode of delivery. Accreditation in South Africa, there are three main bodies. They all belong to the government. The Council on Higher Education on the left-hand side. Quality assures all our programs, so it meets minimum standards, etc. And then in the middle is the government department that gives us a license to trade as a private university. And on the right-hand side, there's an entity that registers all South African qualifications on a ladder that we call the NQF, National Qualifications Framework. For the purpose of standardizing master's degree across all universities, a doctoral degree, etc. So those three accreditation and recognition requirements are essential, without which we cannot trade as a university. But beyond South Africa, we have sought accreditation from countries in which we work in Southern Africa. So on the top left-hand corner, you'll find Mauritius Tertiary Education Commission. They have accredited our campus in Mauritius. In Malawi, we are recognized. In Namibia, we are recognized. In Zambia. In Botswana, on the right-hand side, we have quite a large campus in Botswana, as well as a number of other international associations that recognize, endorse, or accredit our programs. Beyond accreditation, the colleges that we run also are associated with a number of South African, and international bodies. As an example, on the top corner is the South African Business Schools across South Africa, public and private universities, and these 19 belong to an umbrella body called SAPSA. Towards the middle is the
pink logo EFMD, the European Foundation for Management and Development. We are members of the EFMD and we regularly attend their capacity building programs, faculty development programs, etc. And then you'll find a strong link and partnership with is actually in Siberia. It's the city of Novosibirsk. So this institution is called the Novosibirsk State Institute of Economics and Management. And we have a very strong partnership with them for at least 10 to 12 years. Professor Karodia initiated that more than a decade ago. We regularly visit each other. Some of our faculty are visiting professors there, vice versa, etc. And of course, a number of other associations that we belong to. Towards the bottom on the right-hand side is the institution that Professor Karodia postgraduate management education, and all of them offer MBA programs. So we meet twice or thrice a year as part of the African Association of Business Schools. This is just a sample of some of the programs that we offer across the two main institutions. Undergraduate, mainly bachelor's degrees in specialized areas like supply chain management, marketing management, human resource management, public administration, business administration. And on the other side, also you'll find similar degrees. Bachelor of Commerce in the accounting area, that's a specialized bachelor's degree. And then postgraduate qualifications would be honors programs in specialized degrees or postgraduate diplomas, and of course the MBA degree that we offer across both institutions. Both of those are general MBA degrees, they're not specialized like we have here in international business. Somehow South Africa is very conservative in higher education policy, and the South African authorities believe that an MBA by nature is a generalist qualification and should not be specialized. And so there is quite restrictive regulation, if you like, to get accreditation for a specialized MBA in South Africa. So both institutions offer MBA general. So the black dots represent where the students come from. We are the lowermost point in South Africa of the African continent, that's where we're located. And then we've got students spread across Southern Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, and we also have students in, I don't know if you know, a new country called South Sudan, the newest country in the world. And the capital is Juba. So we have about 150 MBA students in Juba that have been sponsored by the United Nations. We also have students in the Middle East. Because it's distance learning, students register with us from various parts of the world. So we've got about 50 to 60 MBA students in Saudi Arabia, in the city of Riyadh. And we've got some students in the UK, of course, Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, and spread across parts of Asia. Hopefully we'll color in India just now. So we're hoping to add to these dots. As I mentioned, modality or teaching and learning methods, when a student registers with us, they collect quite a comprehensive set of modules, materials, one for each module that they'll be doing for the semester or for the year. So they collect their modules and registration, and then they attend a series of weekend workshops. I must say that our MBA program students, 99% of them are in full-time employment. They are not university graduates. Unlike India and maybe the US, in South Africa, the MBA is very firmly known as a post-experience qualification. So students finish a first degree, they go into commerce and industry. Generally, they work for 5 years or more, and then they register for an MBA. So almost all our students are what we call mature students. They have worked in commerce and industry for at least 10 years. So the average age of an MBA student in South Africa is about 35 years. 35 to 40 years. So these are mature professionals, CEOs, directors of companies, directors general in the public sector. And that's the profile of students in the MBA class. We have a slightly larger proportion of female students, fortunately. So I think on average the split between male and female students in the MBA class is 52 to 53% are female and the balance are male. So we try to represent the demographics of the region in which we work, and women play a very key role in commerce and industry in South Africa. So students register, collect their modules from us. They meet us 3 to 4 times in a semester, which is 6 months long, over weekends because they're in full-time employment. And of course then they write exams at the end of the semester, and that repeats itself. But the model of distance learning is materials, contact sessions, enrichment classes, and a whole range of online resources. Some of you may recognize some of these logos here. Emerald is quite a large database of online journals. EBSCO hosts, Cengage Learning is a publisher. McGregor is another online set of journals, etc. So we use a whole range of online resources to support our students who are studying at a distance. Also, if you look at the fifth bullet from the top, we've created companion websites for registered students. And basically this is like an LMS, a learning management system. So once the student is registered, thereafter they will use the companion website like